I've been using the iPhone 15 for over 8 months now, and I've seen a lot of people online talking about how this phone is exactly the same as the iPhone 14, 13, and even the iPhone 12. But I would argue that this is the best non-Pro iPhone that ever came out. And it actually tops a lot of the Pro iPhones as well. Here's why. So first of all, even though the design looks similar to previous models, they actually curve the edges just enough to make it way more comfortable in the hand. And if you pair that with his matte finish on the back, it just looks and feels way more comfortable and premium. One more thing that this phone got from the previous 14 Pro lineup is of course the dynamic island. And I didn't really care about this feature when it came out. I actually thought it's just a differently shaped notch. But notice how I did call it a feature, and that's because it is. You get a lot of useful glanceable notifications on it, as well as various different controls for different apps, all mushed into this dynamic island. And even though I never really had an issue with the notch, now after using the 14 Pro and the 15, I don't actually think I will be able to go back to an iPhone with a notch, because this looks much better, it's way more useful, and it's simply not wasted space. And of course, I think we can also call this part of the iPhone 15 design. You get USB-C. And again, I didn't really think that would be something I prefer over the Lightning connector, but using a USB-C iPhone for an extended period of time, I actually do see the benefit of having just one charger to rule them all. It's just one less thing to think about. Now, on the iPhone 15, it is capped at USB 2.0 speed. So for data transfer, it's not gonna be any faster than Lightning was, but if you get an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, you do get faster speeds with that one. So if you are using USB to transfer huge amounts of data from and to your phone, then just note that this is not a fast port. But since I am usually using AirDrop for most things, I don't really care that much. And of course, the speed of that port doesn't affect charging speeds in any way, because charging doesn't require a fast port, but these are still not great. We are talking about iPhones though, and all of them charge kind of slow, and that's the case with the iPhone 15. It charges a bit over 20 watts wired. I'm usually using a wireless charger, so it doesn't really matter. While we're at it, if you do need a cool 3-in-1 wireless charger, definitely check out MagBack. This is the one that I'm using right behind me here. This video is not sponsored, but I will leave an affiliate link in the description for their 3-in-1 charger, which I absolutely love, along with the MagBack case. It actually has a lot of additional magnets in it, aside from the standard MagSafe ring, and it fits perfectly with the charger, as you can see. Like I said, this video is not sponsored by MagBack, but I do love their products, and you can get a discount if you use my link in the description below. So charging in and of itself is fine, I guess, but the more important thing is battery life. And I actually think that it's pretty good. I really don't want to get into screen on time, because that can vary a lot depending on how you use your phone day to day, but it's solid and it can get me through the day with absolutely no problems. Since I started using this phone, I only had like 3 or 4 days where I had to top it up a little bit in the evening, but I'm usually ending the day at around 30%. But if you really want to talk numbers, I would say I get around 9 hours of screen on time on average, which is absolutely fair. Like if you get an S24 Ultra or an iPhone 15 Pro Max or even a 15 Plus, you definitely get more battery out of those models. But since this is sort of a compact phone, I guess, for 2024 standards at least, I think 9 hours is more than good enough. And it's most likely gonna get you through the day with absolutely no issues. And that is in part because, well, it only has a 60 Hz display. I'm liking these segues today, I'm doing good. It's a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and it's absolutely amazing in every way, like top of the line industry standard stuff, but it's not ProMotion, so it's kept at 60 Hz. And at first, I really had a problem with it, but now I just don't care, and I don't even notice it anymore, because I've been using this phone for such a long time that it's just became a normal thing. You gotta remember that up until a few years ago, or like 5 or 6 years ago, most phones were 60 Hz. But on the other hand, it's not the strongest argument out there. The industry is advancing, the cameras are advancing, everything in these phones is getting better and better each year. And most, if not all, mid-range Android phones actually get a 120 Hz refresh rate. So when it came out, and today as well, it was one of the only 60 Hz phones in its price range. Actually, I think it was the only one. But I really don't feel like it's a big deal, honestly, and I don't feel like it's something that should be talked about that much. I don't mind it. I use this phone every day and it's absolutely fine. iOS is super smooth anyway, and it doesn't ruin the experience for me. If it does for you, that's also fair, and if you want an iPhone, you have to get a Pro one. But putting the refresh rate aside, like I said, this display is absolutely amazing. It has great colors, great contrast, 1000 standard nits of brightness and peaking at 2000 nits outdoor in direct sunlight, so it's a really bright display. I can't really find a single additional flaw to it aside from the refresh rate. So if you are looking to get this phone, just is promotion something that you personally care about or not? That's all it comes down to. But we've been talking about the display for way too long. How fast is this phone, you ask? It's super fast actually. It has the A16 Bionic chip, and it's not the newest one. It's actually the same chip that was in the 14 Pro. But the 14 Pro is also still super fast. And there's really not much to say about it. Anything you want to do, you can do on the iPhone 15. And I definitely feel like it's gonna stay fast and responsive for a really long time, since Apple's chips are generally pretty good. It of course came with iOS 17, and of course it's gonna get iOS 18 that just got announced a few days ago, which is a story for a different video, but seems like it's gonna be really good. A lot of AI stuff, a lot of customization stuff they actually took from Android, and it's gonna be supported for a really long time, since Apple generally offers a lot of years of software support. It has 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128, 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage. I actually have the base 128 model and I'm super cool with it, but I'm using a lot of cloud storage, so if you are storing stuff on your device, maybe go with the 256 version, although it's not necessary. It comes in 5 colors, that's black, blue, green, yellow and pink, so it has a lot of options. All you have to do is pick. Speaking of picks, it has 2 cameras on the back. It actually has a updated 48 megapixel main wide lens and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. So we still didn't get the telephoto on the regular model, but since the main sensor is 48 megapixels, you can actually use a 2x digital zoom that doesn't lose out on quality, because they're just cropping in on that 48 megapixel sensor and giving you a 12 megapixel result. So you kind of have 2.5 cameras on the back, I guess. The main lens is absolutely great. I've been actually using this phone to shoot a lot of my videos recently. Not this one though, because it's in my hand now, but you know, in general. Colors are nice and accurate, it's more than sharp enough, and you get most iPhone camera features with it, like night mode, action mode, cinematic mode. You get photographic styles, which don't actually use them. Use the standard one, please, but you get them if you want them. One thing that it doesn't support, that a 15 Pro does support, of course, are those Pro formats. So that's Pro RAW and ProRes and log for video. Are these formats something you actually need day to day? I don't really think so. If you are like a digital creator or a photographer, videographer that kind of knows a bit more about this stuff, then it might be something that you're interested in. You still won't be able to use these cameras like in a professional setting, of course, but for a lot of stuff, it will be a good addition. But just keep in mind that if you are using these formats, they flatten the colors and everything out, so you would have to fix all these things in post. You would have to edit the photos and the videos to get the desired result with it. So if you are just someone that wants to use their camera like a normal person, then yeah, you shouldn't use these formats anyway. And as just a simple point and shoot camera without too much tinkering, this is one of the best options out there. And I know you all had sleepless nights thinking about what are the best iPhone 15 camera settings that I can possibly use to get the best result with photos and videos. I actually made a video about it and you can check it out here.